Hey everyone, and welcome to the 58th episode of We're All in the Same Boat. No one's going to interrupt me this time. I'm your host, Luke Roxold, and today I'm going to start this over because I choked on something.
Goddamn.
It's very rare that I mess it up. It's usually other people that
Are you
mess it
kidding
up.
me? You mess it up all the fucking time.
Shush! Here we go. Hey everyone, and welcome to the 58th episode of We're All in the Same Boat. I'm your host, Luke Roxold, and today I am here with John.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hey. You got Barney over here.
Just like an underwhelming intro.
Nobody's going to know who you are because your voice sounds different now. As always, you can check us out on SoundCloud and iTunes and Google Play. Leave us a review, please. And tweet at us at WAITSB Podcast. We would love to hear from you. I've actually been following people who follow us. So, if you're just looking for somebody to...
If you're looking for a follower,
yeah. So as opposed to a leader,
it's a two-way road.
I can help you, right? Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Did you guys do anything for Prime Day?
Yes.
Nah, man. I'm broke.
Okay.
I ain't got no money left.
Well, then, interesting person, meaning John, what'd you buy? What'd you buy?
I bought the Blink XT cameras, the security cameras.
Wait, what?
Blink XT.
Blink? You and your security cameras.
I have no idea what you're even talking about, John.
XT?
XT as an external.
You nerd.
Why did you buy this? Nerd?
So I could have security cameras watching the outside.
No, you should have just said,
No,
I can have security.
Do you have
Yes,
like a house
for
and stuff?
security.
Do you have like a family? What a nerd.
No, I live in a house, but
What a
no, I
nerd.
found Cheetos and ketchup packets in my backyard and
Oh my gosh.
cigarette butts on the patio of my front yard and
What?
yeah, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
It's a little creepy.
I know who it is. I'm not going to tell you, though.
Who is
Hey,
it?
man.
Who is it? Tell
Dick.
me. Just tell me. Just say it. I
I'm
really don't know
not. His name rhymes with Luke Bloxwald, but I'm not going to...
You better catch that guy and throw him in jail.
Tell you. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm
Lock
sorry.
him up. Lock him up.
Lock him up.
Catch him with the camera. No, it would have been so funny if you just were like, oh, I just got a security camera. Why? Security.
Have you seen the guys that he was getting his packages stolen? So he set up a fake shotgun with blanks that would go off anytime someone tried to steal his packages.
Damn, that's scary.
Holy
no?
crap.
Yeah, it would. No one, like, it was like 2 days after he never had a problem ever again.
Well, you only get you like try to rob someone one time and you get shot at. You're not a criminal forever. Like the rest of your life, you're good to go.
Yeah, it would just go off and they would just run. They'd run so fast. It's a great video. You guys gotta watch it.
Oh man, that's like
Very satisfying.
that's very like aggressive.
Well,
very
if it
aggressive way.
was Texas, you could actually not use blanks.
Yeah, it's true. You could just shoot him in the face.
Yeah, well then your grandmother comes over to surprise you and gun her down.
Happy birthday! Oh.
So wait, so you bought the security cameras? Is that it? That's all you took advantage of this really great Prime Day? Because I have some stories about Prime Day. that I'm
No,
gonna
I
get
also
into.
bought a video game.
What video game?
Yakuza 6.
How do you like it?
Why do you have to keep? Why do you keep? Why do you? Hold on. Why do you have to keep buying things that I have to Google? And why do you have to buy things I have to Google that have names
If you weren't
I
such
can't
a
spell?
fucking
How do you spell
loser.
it? How do you spell
I know I
it?
called John a nerd, but I knew exactly what he was talking about when he said Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Yeah. How the turntables have turned. You're both nerds.
How the turntables.
How do you spell it?
YAK.
Y-A-K.
UZA.
Are you serious? You don't know how to spell Yakuza? Oh my gosh.
Yakuza.
I know.
Yakuza.
Wow. I wish I was like way cooler
Actually,
and knew how to spell this
John
word.
keeps saying it right. Yeah, it's Yakuza, not just Yakuza.
Oh, I've seen this game before. I've never played it though.
It's ridiculous. It's so over
They're
the top.
all good.
Is this
Yeah.
like
It's so fun.
top-notch game? Like 10 out of 10 game? Or is this like a 7?
I would give it a 10 out of 10.
If 10 out of 10 is just overall wackiness in an open world, then yes.
Well, you know what Metacritic gave it?
Probably like a 72.
75.
Yeah.
Does anyone actually take like any of these review sites seriously?
No.
Wait, so this company is called Famitsu, and they review games, and they give it a 37 out of 40.
It sounds like
Whose
some
scale
bias
goes
there.
to 40?
Sounds like some
Japanese.
Japanese bias right there.
Why is it to 40?
I don't know.
It's like on a scale of 1 to 40. 40?
Why are you questioning their scales, Luke?
Isn't
No,
the
that's
French,
probably right.
Isn't the
I-
French school grading scale up to 20?
Every country has like weird scales. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only ones that don't use the metric
We
system.
measure things in feet, okay? That's pretty cool. 12, 3.
It's co-
Our
it's cool, but not useful.
I think it's fun. 12
it's
inches
good
in
for
a
you.
foot,
good
3
for you,
foot in
buddy.
a yard. How many yards in a mile? 50 to 80 feet in a mile.
And then divide that by 3, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Something like that. I don't know how.
Okay, so
any
I
of
didn't
that
buy
works.
anything for Prime Day, but I buy things on Amazon all the time. Like, I basically don't buy things at stores at all. So anything that I would buy at Target, I now buy on Amazon. Like, I needed a laundry basket. Poof, send that to me. I'm not going to the
Amazon.
store. Yeah. Because, like, it takes so long just to go to stuff like Target. Like, if I went to the Target to buy a laundry basket, it would take me like an hour and a half total to
Right.
It's
get
not
to
even the one
Target.
that you want.
Yeah, and it's like, it's probably more expensive. I have to go get it. I can't just scroll through like laundry baskets, like all the different ones, and then pick the one I want. It's just like, I think things like Target need to go away, and we just need everything to be mailed to us.
No more stores.
I think
Yeah, I'm seriously.
I think Amazon's going to be the first company ever to hit $1 trillion. I read that.
Seriously?
I read that today. Yeah, they're going to be the first one to hit $1 trillion market cap.
$1 trillion?
So they're pretty much just going to take over the world.
Yeah, that's okay though.
I'm okay with
So
it.
Apple and Amazon are both like competing. I do think
What?
Amazon should make more money than Apple
Where are they competing?
to get to $1 trillion.
Oh, I see. It's a race.
Basically a race to who can have the most money.
Yeah, it's like Apple's been ahead for so long, and now Amazon's just like,
Apple kind of hit like they kind of stalled out for a bit there. But
Didn't they have a
they're-
lot of
they're
trouble
growing
with
again.
some factory in China or something?
Yeah, they've always.
people have been jumping off the buildings forever in China because of Apple.
Every year they have a new scandal, but it really doesn't matter. It's like Chick-fil-A, right? People boycott Chick-fil-A, but then people
I know, I
flock to
talk-
Chick-fil-A. It doesn't matter.
I was talking about like I was talking to someone about that where we were like saying there's two gay people or something, and one of them is like boycotting Chick-fil-A, and the other gay person who's like most other gay people is like, dude, can you just stop? We all like Chick-fil-A, okay?
Like all you're doing by boycotting Chick-fil-A is making me want more Chick-fil-A.
It's true.
That's how. What is it? The Streisand effect. When you try to censor something, boycott something, it just makes it grow more.
That's happened to that woman in her house. She was like, these people are posting my house online, and then because she did that, everyone Googled her house.
Everyone Googled her house. Yeah, isn't it great?
Isn't that why it's called the Streisand effect? Wasn't it because of her?
It
that her name?
Barbara Streisand. Yeah, I don't know the exact situation, but that sounds super familiar, so that might be it. But basically, just humans in general are always prone to rebel and are attracted to things that are censored or boycotted or something like that.
That sounds like something John would do.
That's the correct term. The Streisand effect.
The Streisand.
It's the thing that John does. I can see John being like, wait, I'm not supposed to go to this website? Okay.
Did you really not buy
Let's
anything on
figure
Prime
this
Day,
out.
Luke?
Don't push the button.
No, because I always buy stuff on Amazon. And actually, so the reason I bring it up is I was on my computer, and I was actually buying something on Amazon not related to Prime Day. I forgot that it was Prime Day, right? But I went on Amazon, and I was trying to buy something, and like I couldn't get anything to load. Like the search wasn't working. So Amazon was like broken on Prime Day. So I texted two people that I know at Amazon, because, Amazon's right here. And I was like, hey, are you aware that your site's not working very well right now? And then they both texted me back like, oh, we know.
Dude, it was like a whole big thing when Amazon just kept crashing and slowing. It was like
Can you imagine?
healthcare.gov. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
It was ridiculous.
So they were like everything. I was like, is it a global meltdown right now, and then they just
Pretty
went
much.
no comment.
I mean, what do you do about that? You're the most highly trafficked site in the world at the moment. It's like
At that moment in time,
yeah, it's just like what do you do? You kind of just bear with it. Even though, I mean, the rare times that Google goes down, I mean, it's very rare. So you got to hand it to Google. They tend to manage their traffic really well.
Mm-hmm.
For getting
it is crazy though, because I don't know. I just know like we have small sites at my company. I'm trying to imagine like take the pressure that hits you when something like that happens,
right,
and multiply it by like the biggest company in the world.
Right. I mean, Google gets 3.5 billion searches a day. So imagine whatever site that you're working on now. I'm a web developer, so I average what?
Oh wait, all three of us are nerds. We're all three.
25
we all
searches
three
a day
do web
on
development.
my site. Yeah,
John, do you do web development right now?
Yep.
Yeah, look at us, three nerds.
Yeah, I can't even imagine 100 people on my site, let alone a billion. That's ridiculous.
Did you say unfortunately, John?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of it now.
the web developer's creed. I'm tired of it.
I do get tired of everything just being trash. You're like, it's such a mess.
Yeah,
web development.
It's kind of a clown show. I mean, it really is. Like JavaScript in general is kind of a clown show. It's just too much freedom.
Yeah.
But whatever. Not gonna worry
What do you
about it.
program in, Nick? Like what web language?
At the moment, I'm using Angular.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of Angular front end stuff along with Bootstrap and Flexbox.
Bootstrap 4 is the best thing ever.
Oh, it's not that great. Okay. It's
Wait,
it's
what?
a good.
What'd you say? It's so like compared to Bootstrap 3. Oh, Bootstrap 3 was dumb. Bootstrap 4 is awesome.
It's definitely better, I will say.
Just because of Flexbox.
Yeah, Flexbox it's like a whole new thing. Anyway,
plot twist for all nerds.
I know. It's like, oh my gosh, this podcast is gonna be so boring if people just hear us talk about this.
That's right. So anyway, fun fact: Amazon is also doing their Prime Day concert here in Seattle at the CenturyLink Stadium. I've actually been to. I was actually at one of those Amazon parties, and it's like 40,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. They can do whatever they want, though. It's Amazon. They really can just do whatever they want.
They have Demi Lovato is performing tonight. I know.
And Ariana Grande. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I know who she is.
She married.
I know she is.
She married that SNL dude.
What?
Or something like something like that.
Wait, what did you say?
Pete. What's his name? Pete Davidson.
I didn't know she was married. How old is she?
Yeah. Pete Davidson. Partner, not spouse. Sorry.
Oh, she's 25. I had no idea she was that old.
Pete's 24. Pete, he kind of sucks. He's got a Hillary Clinton tattoo. He's a weird guy. Like
what?
Like he's.
Oh man, I would never. Why would you ever get a politician tattoo?
Yeah, exactly. And like he was like on. What was he on? I don't know what talk show.
Apparently, that's the only thing he'll ever be famous for.
I don't know what talk show it was, but when asked about, it, I was like, "What do you think about dating Ariana Grande?" He's just like, "Oh man, it's rad, dude. It's so rad." I'm like, "Oh, dude, you suck." But he's dating Ariana Grande, so I'm just jealous.
That's right. It's insane though, because they have a big concert in a football stadium, and it's like, I don't know, it's like elbow to elbow people, and most of them are all Amazon, and you're like, oh man, this company is so big.
Just a bunch of nerds.
So many people. I know, nerds everywhere. I was thinking about that actually. How like this city is really influenced just because there's so many nerds.
Yeah, it's gonna affect the culture and it's gonna affect everything. You know,
because you don't get a lot of like alpha dogs. You know, because like nerds tend to be quieter. Yeah. So it's like
exactly it.
That's how I assert my dominance in a room of nerds.
I bark at them. Yeah. So speaking of technology and nerds, I was driving home yesterday. I think it was either yesterday or it was Tuesday, and I was just thinking about YouTube and podcasts and live streams, and I was listening to some stuff that we'll get into, but I was excited. Like I was just driving in traffic and I started getting excited because I was thinking about how significant this new movement of media actually is. Like, and we don't even really think about it. Just between YouTube and podcasts and live streams, it's like this is like the future right now. And I don't know, I got really excited. I was like, this is like the printing press. Like, we have no idea where this is going to go, like how far it's going to stretch out and what's going to become popular. And anyway, so I was thinking about that, and I wanted to talk to you guys about your thoughts. And the first thing that I wanted to bring up was the different platforms that are succeeding right now: YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. And I would like to know if you guys consider Facebook to be succeeding right now.
Well, they're all succeeding, right? But it's more so where do you see
hey,
like the
you know
future?
What? MySpace isn't. So how about that?
But that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's like where do we see the future? I think last I checked, it was 73% of the world uses YouTube. It's the second most popular site in the world,
behind
It's
Google.
the most popular site.
behind Google. Yeah. So. It's just it's so popular, but I feel like it can come crashing down really quickly, because I think about like the adpocalypse, and I think about
well, YouTube's not making money.
Yeah,
I heard.
I don't think YouTube cares about that. That's the thing. They just have so much money coming in from Google's other investments and projects that it really doesn't matter what they do. They can lose as much money as they want. So they might be around for a long time. The question is, will they remain the second most popular website in the world for a long time?
I mean, all three of us, and I want both of you to answer this individually, but I'm assuming that we're all in the same boat. Heyo, that Facebook is not very cool anymore.
Yes. That is correct.
I was like,
I am rarely ever on Facebook. I am rarely ever on Facebook now, because it's pretty much, I mean,
it's just
it's
people
old
sharing
people. It's
big
old people.
pages pictures, and they're dumb pictures, not even funny pictures.
Yeah, and so a lot of kids have moved to YouTube. So
I don't even use Facebook. I just use it for Messenger, and that's it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, same.
I can't remember the last time I've actually enjoyed being on Facebook.
So I think Facebook is still running, but Facebook is like, it's definitely not doing what it was before. But like, Facebook is still running. Vine died. MySpace is dead. What else?
Snapchat's dying slowly.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really? Is that true? Why? Why do you think that? What makes you think it's dying? Like, just in terms of cool factor?
Well, yeah. You have to realize
because of Instagram, probably.
I just noticed the frequency people post is going down.
Mm-hmm. And it's a kid thing, right? So once the kids find something else they're attracted to, they'll be gone. Their whole thing is kids.
But what are they getting attracted to then? Is it Instagram?
I mean,
Instagram. What? What do you think?
Completely wrong. Never mind.
How do you do, fellow kids?
The thing about Snapchat is, like, after they went public, they like released all their financials. They're losing tons of money constantly.
What is up with all these companies losing money?
Because debt is
it like that net?
Debt is
that
valuable.
movie
Debt's
pass is
valuable.
the same thing is happening with Movie Pass, where they're like losing money all the time.
Spend money to make money.
Yeah, that's it's debt. You sit on debt, and hopefully you come out of it on top.
So is it the value of the number of users you have that they are banking on?
I don't know what it is that I think they only make money from, like, the ads that they have through these stories
on
Instagram, on Snapchat.
Yeah, like, who's clicking those? They're the
Kids.
dumbest examples of stories ever.
It's literally just here. March quarterly financials. Snapchat revenue 230 million. Net income minus 385 million. Net profit margin minus 167%. Like, how long can you keep that up?
Right.
And so you're praying that public investors are going to pull you out, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. And it seems like kids are I don't know, kind of sick.
Well,
of
these whole stories,
Snapchat.
like I'm looking at them right now, and it's like Logan Paul just walked out of what? That's one of the stories, and then it's you won't believe what someone in Iowa captured on video. It's like the most clicky things.
Clickbait.
Yeah. That's why it's kids.
It says this is why teens are giving up on sex and drinking. You know, it's just like these dumb like.
It's true though. Kids don't go out as much.
Was that a Kylie joke? Question mark! Exclamation mark! That's what you really think kids want to read this stuff? Trash. But I also don't know how well I understand kids, because there is going to be a point where all three of us reach a certain age and we're going to be like, "Rah, I don't understand kids today."
Yeah, we'll be dinosaurs.
I think it's going to happen sooner than you think.
I'm 27, so it better not.
I think it will.
It
I think it's probably
Already happened to me.
do you have stories?
Me?
What did you do that made you like an old man?
And how are you so confident that it has definitely happened to you already?
I'm in pain all the time. Like my body aches all the time. And I'm just like, I'm driving home today. I'm like, oh God, my back just got better. And then I get out of my chair at work and my foot starts hurting. And I'm like, fuck, everything hurts all the time. I'm old.
Are you sedentary most of the day? Like you just sit?
I go for a walk about every 2 to 3 hours. I go for like a 10 to 15 minute walk.
That should help for sure. But I was reading trade jobs, like really high paying trade jobs are just remaining unoccupied. Like pretty physical intensive stuff, and high
trade physically intensive? Like what?
Yeah, high paying like trade school kind of jobs, like whether it's like a welder or a carpenter or stuff like that, like and a construction contract stuff that you're on your feet all day. Those jobs are just remaining empty. Everyone's because everyone's either going to university to get their degree in tech, or they're getting their degree in something that's probably useless. But basically, trade jobs aren't the thing anymore, and that was something that kept people in shape throughout the day. And now lifestyle, like people are getting more and more unhealthy by the year. It's pretty crazy. Like I have had to actively go to the gym so I'm not a fat slob. Cause dude, like honestly, when I left college, I got fat in less than a year. It did not take any time at all. And then it took me 3 years to lose it. So it's crazy. And with what diet is now, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like people are just going to be more and more unhealthy. But me
and John, actually, we had a whole podcast talking about John's been doing. So John's like, how tall are you, John?
I'm 6'3".
Yeah. So
whoa!
He's tall.
It's not that tall.
It feels.
I'm 5'8". It's tall.
You feel like a bear around me. Like I'm like, no matter how hard I learn to if I fought and learn to fight, I feel like all you would have to do is just lift your hand up and let it drop on my head.
Yeah, I'm tall and wide.
You're just a big guy.
I'm just big.
But we were talking about John was getting pretty heavy, and he decided to really make some lifestyle changes, and he got on this Weight Watchers program and has been dropping a lot of weight that way, But
sick, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, but we were talking about it for a long time. Like even me, I gained a lot of weight at one point, and it wasn't until I was like, okay, this is not. Yeah. It's not like it's like.
What? You did get fat. I forgot.
Oh yeah, you were fat. I remember. Got him.
I can say that because I'm bald.
That's right.
I'll never get that back.
Yeah, that's what dude, I'm afraid. I'm always like, oh well,
it's so funny. It's so funny. You did the
smart thing though. You just shaved it off. Though.
Yeah. I'm looking back and I'm looking at people who are losing their hair now. I'm like, sucks to be you. Get ready. It's gonna suck. I'm like, that's revenge. Because in college I lost my hair and it sucked so bad.
That's right.
But,
yeah.
Oh man.
Well, the other thing too is I just hope I find a woman before I lose my hair. Or let's hold on to it. Now I don't know that I'm losing my hair. We'll just see. But I'm like, oh.
It's up to you, Luke, to find. It's up to you, Luke, to find that woman. Good luck.
That's right. The time is ticking. The hair is ticking. Now we were talking about the ones that worked: YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat. For the most part, they're working okay. Yeah. But we're also talking about them slowly dying off. Which one? Oh, Twitter. I forgot about Twitter. Twitter's in a weird spot. But if you guys had to bet, which one would you bet on? Being
YouTube?
the one that lasts.
YouTube. No, I don't. You don't really need to think about it. It's just obviously going to be YouTube.
But why is it? I think it's just because YouTube has it has all the traffic, and I feel like a platform that plays videos.
It's such a wide net.
When are people never going to be like, oh, wow, videos are old school? Yeah,
video content continues to grow every year. It continues to be like more and more videos are being consumed by like like every year it's like, oh, more videos were consumed than in the history of mankind previously. Like,
yeah, I know.
It just keep like that trend just keeps going, and it keeps like doubling, tripling, quadrupling like crazy.
And I have this actually in my notes because I figured you guys were going to say YouTube, and so I had it written down as like, let's talk about YouTube specifically, just because like YouTube is such an interesting platform because it evolves and changes so quickly because of the algorithm changing. And if you think about like maybe 8 years ago, skits were huge. You had all these people doing skits and acts and like little once a week releasing a little funny video, like and then after a while, then all of a sudden it was prank videos. Then it was like commentary and reaction videos. Then it was vlogs, and now it's like I feel like now the big thing on YouTube is like podcast clips or political like people getting slammed, or even like live stream clips. I don't know. These are what I want you guys to kind of. I'm thinking out loud a little bit, but
podcast. You hit it with podcasts too, because podcasts are. I don't know if that's a medium that's going to die quickly at all either. I think it's just the spoken word in general seems to be taking off.
I'm finding myself listening to podcasts less. You guys aren't even
talking about video games. Like there's so much video games
content. Video games are getting. But
video
games are, I don't know. If I was going to compare YouTube to video games.
But video game videos are like huge for teenagers.
Oh, that's what you're saying. No, actually, I didn't even put that on my list. Before commentary and reactions, I would say video games was a big thing on YouTube.
Absolutely.
But I think it's going down. I think vlogs are going down. I think vlogs are like not a thing on YouTube.
I think vlogs are going down, but I think video game stuff is going up.
Yeah, I think that's a trend.
I don't think so. I don't think video games are going up. I think
that's a trend. That's a trend we're studying, is like, because you look at like prank videos from like 2014, that was huge, and everyone was doing that and making tons of money from that. And now I don't see prank videos ever. I don't see social experiment videos ever. It was a trend that died. It was a trend that died so quickly. So.
It did, and that's what I'm trying to think now. Like, where is this going? Because vlogs, I think, are dying. All the vloggers are stopping.
Yeah,
like all the big ones.
It's
like
hard.
Casey Neistat kind of stopped. He's trying to get going again, but I think he's stopping again. Roman Atwood stopped. Like all the different Vine vloggers, they're also like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They're not even really vlogging so much anymore.
Well,
like
it's oversaturated.
They're going down.
It's kind of their fault.
Yeah, I know.
Not really.
But I'm just saying, like, I think vlogging is like it's gotten everything that comes into YouTube hits so quickly and blows up so fast, and then like immediately burns out.
Right.
And so I'm thinking like, well, what is the thing now that's catching on? And that's part of the reason I had you guys watch those videos, because I'm wondering if this is the next YouTube thing, like these documentary mystery kind of, I don't even know what to call them. I'm just trying to figure out like, what's the next big thing?
Well, you have to also account for the demographic change too, because YouTube's pretty old now. And so the same people that are watching, PewDiePie maybe like 6-7 years ago probably don't watch PewDiePie anymore, but they probably still are on YouTube finding something else that they like. I think video content, like John said, video content has such a huge net. I think maybe the documentary stuff might attract a more mature audience than just what kids would like with their vlogs and stuff like that. So I think the real question might be, what are the kids going to be into soon? Like the teenagers, if vlogs die, I wonder what they're going to be into, and what the creators are going to have to do.
What do you think, John?
I don't know. I think for what I see, and this may be purely because of my viewing habits, is that to me, video game stuff is going up, reaction stuff is going up, and I'm seeing a lot more nostalgia stuff, like nostalgia stuff for old toys and video games.
Interesting.
I never watched the vlog stuff, like for anybody. so I don't get a lot of that. But
Not even me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way.
But I've noticed trends of like people that used to do reaction stuff or people that used to do vlogs are like moving into podcast formats, like kind of like H3H3.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up H3H3.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I think podcasts, long form conversations about important topics or not important topics, just long form. Because TV's dying, right? So
I feel like
you get rid of commercials, get rid of.
I see Joe Rogan everywhere. Like his podcast is everywhere on YouTube for me now. I don't even watch his stuff that much.
Right.
Yeah, Joe Rogan is huge. Because I do know that I was going to say this about podcasts because I still listen to podcasts, but I'm finding myself listening less to podcasts and just going straight to YouTube. Because I have YouTube Red, I can listen. I can like listen to videos, and I can tune into them live too, which that's a whole nother ball game.
Right.
Like live streaming.
Yeah, and you make a lot of money from live streaming.
Yeah,
too.
because of the donations, and it's more exclusive. So it's like you and your audience. So if you look at people like Ice Poseidon or Sam Pepper, and those people that do, or even Andy Milanakis, like the people that do those real life streams, there's more like adrenaline because it's live. I don't know. I'm wondering, like, is that going to happen? Is that going to blow up? Like, imagine if you go down the street and there's 10 people live streaming, just walking around, like all the time.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
What's next? I don't know. And I think live streaming could be. I don't know. I feel like that's pretty big because Joe Rogan does it, like the live stream, but it's a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about the live stream vlogs?
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
what I mean.
familiar with that?
The in real life or IRL vlogs or whatever.
You think that's gonna blow up?
I don't know. It's
I watched
it's more
a couple.
efficient than a vlog because you.
I mean, if there's money in
live.
it, it'll blow up. That's pretty much my rule. If there's money in it, it'll blow up.
What were you saying? I've only watched the highlights. I don't think I've ever really watched.
I've watched a couple while they're happening. Like I used to watch Ice Poseidon a lot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
I'm
just said him.
very familiar.
Yeah, he's a ding dong.
He's really good at it. He's really good at the live streaming
ding
thing.
dongs.
Yeah.
He's actually streaming right now.
And there's some dude, I can't remember his name. Jake and Bake. He lives in Japan. He does live streams of him in Japan, which are pretty interesting. But like because he's in Japan, it's like super weird hours. But
right.
Yeah, like I watch them, but I never contribute to it. Like I don't subscribe. I don't like their stuff. I don't give them money or anything like that. So I don't know.
But that might be one of those like how do you do fellow kids things where we just don't understand it. But like if someone said, "Hey, I'm going to jump off this bridge that's not high enough to kill me, but it'll be really funny for the video," or "I'm going to go eat a sandwich. If you pay me $5, I'll jump off the bridge." Then people are like, "Well, pay him $5. I want to see him jump off the bridge." You know, that's something
problem.
we don't get though, because we're not used to thinking that way.
That's like the movie Nerve. Have you seen that?
No, but I know what it is.
Yeah, it's basically that concept of people will give you money to do crazy
yeah.
crap.
I remember that. I didn't see it. I remember the trailer.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, this is highly accurate. This could easily happen. If someone just released this app and started doing this could happen tomorrow on Periscope or something.
The thing about YouTube is it's such a... They keep driving towards... you know how like in business, it's always like, how can you get a cheaper product faster? How can I get more things sold quicker? It's like faster. The more, the better. And YouTube is like, how can I get the most watch time? In essence, how do I get the longest video that's the most interesting, that people stick around for the longest, out the quickest and the most often?
Right.
So that's why vlogging was such a big thing, because it was like film during the day, make the vlog 20 minutes, edit it together the next day and upload, do another one. Right. And so that worked really well. And so now it's like, well, what can do that better? And I think that live streaming really could, because you get 20 hours or 5 hours, a 5 hour long video that people could watch the whole thing because they just turn it on.
I think the big thing that we're not really thinking too much about is that with like the YouTube stuff that are just like vlogs, like for example, the Jake Paul or Logan Paul stuff, they're like, oh, the Jake Paulers or the Logan Paulers. They try and build this community, but the live chat stuff usually spills over into things like Discord, which is, you know, a voice chat program.
Right.
And then it's like an active community that's always involved. And then even when you're offline, they're still talking to each other. So the community, you know, just grows on its own.
Right.
So you have like that whole dynamic adding to your, I guess, your business model. I don't know.
Well, that's what Ice Poseidon has, because he has super loyal fans.
Yeah.
All
But they
these
also
guys.
fuck with them pretty hard.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I've seen some of the like highlights where they start calling the store that he's at over and over and over again or something. Like if he goes to a restaurant, and they'll just start blasting the restaurant with phone calls.
Yes. It's just insane how much power these YouTubers have.
Like the groups of people, they like mass against people.
Like when you sent me that Tanacon video, holy crap! It's insane how much power these people have. They 5,000 people just like that, like with the snap of a finger, with a fake con that it's ridiculous. And what are you? It was a $325,000. Is that how much she made?
No, I don't remember.
Or didn't make. Excuse me, but.
How much did she not make?
Yeah, how much did she... Yeah, right, exactly. How much did she raise, apparently?
But the thing is, I want to know what's going to happen with that story. And this whole, like, FouseyTube thing that just happened, it's the same
and there's
thing.
another example. Oh, my
like,
gosh.
That's, like, I'm so sucked into it because I'm like, what's going to happen? You know? And it's like...
Where's this going?
The thing about the prank videos that came out, and the thing about vlogs, and the thing about all this, like, the clickbait stuff that happened... The pranks, the comments, the thing about like the Leafy is Here stage, everyone was like doing rant, commentary, roast videos. Like
While playing video games, those still exist. That's still a thing.
But they don't. Nobody watches them now. But that was like big thing. I remember when Leafy is Here first came out. I actually did watch his videos because I just was like, I don't know. There's something interesting about them. And now I couldn't care less. But it was like the big thing. And so what I'm trying to figure out is like, what is that big thing now? And I won't realize it until later. You know, like the big thing that everyone games. So like when pranks blew up, there's very select people that realize that, oh, pranks are blowing up. Let me start faking pranks. And those people figured it out before everyone else and then made their channels and then got a ton of attention. And then once people caught on, it burnt out. And so I'm trying to figure out what is it right now that people haven't caught on to yet. And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it could. I've never seen a video like that Shane Dawson video. That's the first time I've ever seen a video like that soon.
There's a new channel called Jubilee that's doing documentary kind of stuff. What's it like to make $11,000 in a day versus $600 a day? There's a big thing where they release videos with people who are doing like, you know, they're PhD grads and they're speaking on topics that people wouldn't know about before. I think you can make a good case that YouTube affected the election heavily, the presidential election. I think Trump won because of some channels on YouTube and the influence that YouTube had politically. And then you have Jordan Peterson, who is doing Bible lectures, and you have millions of people tuning into... I don't think you could pack a church with 1 million people, let alone get 1 million people to view a lecture about the Bible. It's weird. It makes almost no sense to me, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of like the market at work. It's filling in the gap that's been there for a long time, and so you I don't know where it's going either, but it's changing really, really quickly and moving really, really fast, and that does scare me. So
yeah, I have a note here actually saying that. This is actually my own theory. This is 100% me. So I want to take credit
like
for
Illuminati.
No, I mean like normally if I bring up someone else's theory, like I know people that will bring up other people's theory and act like it's their idea. Like they'll be like, dude, the trucking industry is gonna tank because of self-driving cars and like and like, dude, you didn't think of that. Everyone's talking. You didn't think that up. That was someone else. You're just repeating what you heard from someone else. But this actually is my own original thought. I haven't had anyone else help me come up with this, but like I was thinking about how, like right now, the people we compete with, The people we're competing with right now are in our neighborhood or in our city or even in our country, right? Those are the people we're competing with. But now that we have the internet, it's going to blow up. Like, competition is going to get so steep because every single person on Earth, give or take, is going to have access to everything they need to compete. Okay, so as an example, if I'm going to make a movie, I need to have the networking skills. I need to have the equipment. I need to be able to practice the equipment and learn how to practice and learn how to use the equipment, learn how to do the process, and right, it takes a lot of work. But there's a lot that's kind of involved with that. I need the money for it. I need the time. But when it's something like programming, it's like you need a laptop and internet. Now you're good. There's tons of YouTube videos. There's tons of instructions. You don't need to go to a university. You don't need to have a teacher. You can learn it all yourself. Exactly. And so it's like
that's huge.
And you can work remotely. You're going to compete with like 7 billion people that all have the same resources as you. What makes you think you're going to come out on top on that one?
Right. Well, if you're special, right?
Yeah. How likely do you think that is?
It's luck. It's all luck, right? You have to get lucky in that way.
Yeah, or you just got to work hard.
Well, you can work as hard as you can, but there's no guarantee, right?
Well, I mean, if you think about YouTube, the reason YouTube is so difficult to do is because it's so easy to do. Like, so YouTube is difficult to do because it's easy to get into. You need a phone. Done. You're on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah. You can start recording and uploading videos. And everybody has a phone. And everyone has internet. So you have to stand out. Instead of standing out above 100,000 people, because those are the only 100,000 people in the world that had the opportunity, you now have to stand up against 3 billion people, half the world, That's freaky.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot more to it than something like Instagram, where, I mean, granted, they just released Instagram TV. I don't know where that's going to go, if it'll go somewhere at all. But yeah, Instagram TV. So where you can upload, it's basically the YouTube competitor, right? It's like trying to upload. You can upload long videos. So I follow a lot of I'm a drummer. I follow a lot of drum cover guys on Instagram, YouTube. People are uploading their drum covers on Instagram now. It's basically like a YouTube copycat. And I mean, I don't know how far that's going to go, but I feel like there's a lot more substance in YouTube. There's a lot more going on in YouTube. The communities are more fleshed out.
But it's also like impossible to get big on YouTube now. Like, it's so difficult.
It's very difficult. Like I said, if you get lucky, someone shares a video, like if PewDiePie just shares one of your videos, or he has like a clip from one of your videos, you'll get big real quick. That happened to some girl who had an ASMR channel. Do you know what ASMR is, by the way?
Yeah. Yeah,
do you know what ASMR is, John?
Yep.
It's just that's another thing. There's all these weird things in YouTube too, like all these weird communities that wouldn't exist without YouTube. So I don't know. It's just scary how much influence it has, man. I don't know where it's going, but I do think it's here to stay for at least 15 years, if not more.
Yeah. I think that people right now should be concerned, though, about trying to... Don't take for granted the value you have right now. And I'm talking in terms of like economics and stuff. Because like your value, like the amount of money you make is a representation of the value you're bringing to whatever it is you're doing. And I think that inflation is going to happen to a lot of people's value because all of a sudden everyone else is going to have that value. So I'm like, me personally, I'm trying to like diversify into a lot of different things. So it's like, okay, I can program, but I can also do video editing and socialize and network and, whatever else that I learned to do. Because it's like, if I just program and then all of a sudden everyone in the whole world can just program, it's like, well, crap, how am I going to compete against everyone else who has the internet too and all the resources that I took advantage of at one point, but now it's inflated? Does that kind of make sense what I'm saying?
Basically, everyone's doing it, right? So how do you stand out?
Everyone has the same opportunities.
Right.
It's like kind of like it's like everyone starts at different points on a starting line, like different starting lines for the race. Because not everyone gets the same opportunities. Not everyone's has the same intelligence. Not everyone has the same parents
upbringing.
or, you know, like it's everyone's.
It's a lottery.
Dealt,
it's a lottery.
Everyone's dealt a different hand, and you have to do what you can with the hand you're given, right?
Right.
But I think that the internet very slowly is going to, or even unexpectedly quickly, is going to level it out and put everybody at the same starting line with a couple things. Like knowledge, you know, and access to knowledge. It's going to put everyone at the same starting line. And so now it's like, all right, it's you don't get that head start anymore. So you better be good because you're starting at the same level as everyone else now.
I mean, it's also true. Some people are going to take advantage of it than others. And it's just important that, you know, that people do. But I as far as like the lottery thing, and some people just are never going to be able to understand how certain things work, like YouTube, or certain markets like video creation or you know, whatever it is that they need to learn. So, but I think YouTube fills a huge gap in that way, especially with like knowledge and education. Like college, I don't know why you would get a college degree now. Other than if you're not going into STEM, why would you go to college? Even if you don't want to go, I know a guy, he learned everything he knows from coding through like Udemy and Code Academy, and he works with me, and he doesn't have a degree. So why do you need to go get a degree now? What is the point of that? And then when you have things like people can't read, right? But people can listen. So when you have things like YouTube, and people can see, you have things like YouTube where someone's showing you a coding video and explaining it to you through the spoken word. Like, it's really changed the game for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. And I think now with, I forget the number, how many people have smartphones now, but it's a ridiculous percentage of people.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, because I mean,
a lot of people.
I mean, you go to India, homeless people have smartphones now. Like it's kind of like it's weird if you don't. Like it's almost a rebellious thing if you don't. But I don't know what, like I keep saying this, but I don't know what that's going to look like in the future. And I think in a generation, once we get rid of the cable generation,
and I'm so for that. I'm like,
yeah, I think
cable.
I think once we get rid of the cable generation, then we're going to see
like television, news networks, newspapers, all that old stuff. I am so like, this needs to go.
It's partially why journalism's dying, right? Because
I have friends that are journalists, and you know, I wish them the best and stuff, and I want people to do well, but I guess they get such a bad rep because I see so many
it's not their fault
journalists that I'm
it's not. But here's the thing: it's not their fault. Their medium, it's dying. There's nothing they can do about that. They have to produce clickbait now. And so I have empathy for them. I mean, it's still crappy that they're horrible journalists who are writing about things like, what is it, Judge Kavanaugh spent money on Nats tickets that I read the other day, and that was a huge thing. and it was just clickbait, right? And it's in the Washington Post of all places. I grew up in Virginia, and that's supposed to be a really prestigious outlet. And now things like the New York Times and Washington Post are writing clickbait articles for money because they need people to come to their page views for the impressions.
All three of us have degrees. And Nick, you were saying that you didn't necessarily believe that people even need degrees anymore. So, John, I'm curious where you stand on that.
You know, yes and no. Okay, so in my opinion, it depends on what you're pursuing, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So as far as as we are concerned, software developers, I feel like you can get by without a degree if you have the experience. So if somehow you were hired because you learned on your own, I feel like it's completely possible to learn on your own, but I also feel like you're going to miss a lot of core concepts like algorithms or how operating systems work, low-level programming stuff. But front-end stuff, web development stuff, you can totally learn that on your own. And I feel like if you can get the experience, if you can get someone to hire you like a startup, then you can totally succeed without a degree.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, how much I was just thinking about it because, like, what's the difference between learning at home and learning in a classroom right now?
Like, you're just not going to get that kind of condensed information in the same way. Like, you can totally
Textbook.
take like an algorithms class online, but
What do you? I'm thinking. The reason I'm thinking out loud a little bit, and
Well,
I was
you
like,
get the- you get the
can
personal-
ask questions, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, you get the
But who
personal.
asks questions? It really doesn't happen that often.
Well, you
like,
don't get
I-
office hours, that's for
Think
sure.
about. I mean, I went to office hours, right? And
Well,
I've
for
asked
some people,
questions.
that's
But like,
success,
how
yeah.
many questions did I really ask in the classroom?
some
like
people need
20?
to ask questions. Some people don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know if the need is going to shift at all, but once
So think about this. Let me make one more point with this. I'm just trying to hammer home something that, like, you're paying what, $60,000 to ask questions in a room. Is there any other benefit?
I mean, it's all streamlined. You're also tested. You know, you can bounce ideas off.
So you're
tested.
forcing other people to discipline you.
Yeah, basically. Because how many people? Okay, honestly, like, it's so hard for people just every day to have the motivation to complete a task. You know, we're just so used to instant gratification because of smartphones, because of the internet, because of TV. Like, we need something to hold us accountable.
So yes, I do agree that a lot of people, myself included, need that sort of structure.
Like a discipline.
But some people don't. And those are the people that people like me who need that discipline better watch out for.
Right.
Because they don't need a
Right.
classroom and they don't need to ask questions and they're motivated
totally
by
succeed on their
themselves.
own.
Yeah, and they're going to succeed better than me the whole way.
That's the minority, though, in my opinion. Like, I feel like that's the minority.
Let's say
But
it's
I-
one.
but I
Let's say it's
think it-
1% of people. 1% of 7 billion people.
I think it can
That's
become the
the whole new
majority really
generation,
quickly.
right?
I think it
That's-
become the
that's-
majority really quickly. Yeah,
Basically, they stomp out everybody else because it's still millions and millions of people that
I
take
feel like
all
you
the
guys
good jobs.
are overestimating, like, society as a whole. Like, not to like sound like an asshole.
I mean,
just
go.
feel
For,
like-
I don't know that I believe you, but go for
I
it.
feel like more people are less likely to put forth the effort to do that sort of thing. Like, I feel like most people will be more content doing a low, trying to think of the right word for it. Just a job that doesn't really require that much effort.
steady job, right? That just
Sure,
pays.
anything that pays money, and then just to fuck off and do whatever the hell their hobby is, you know, like, and basically most people, they'll list their hobby as Netflix, right? I sound like such an asshole, but
no. I think you're.
People
I think,
go home,
I
they
want
watch
you to make
Netflix, and they
true
go to sleep.
points. Yeah, that's true. And I don't think there's anything wrong with some people
Like,
having that.
I don't
mentality.
think
'Cause,
that's
like,
bad.
I remember I had a friend that I was really trying to push because he was upset and he was kind of depressed. This was in high school. He was kind of depressed and he never exercised. He never left the house, played video games all the time. And like I had my own like amount of laziness and stuff that I struggled with where it's like, oh, well, I'm not playing video games all day or I'm not being very productive, right? But he had it very extreme where he probably wouldn't leave his room for, you know, like a week and he just played video games. He lived in his parents' house and like I remember trying to get him out and trying to get him to do stuff because he was always depressed and I was like, you got to get out, you got to go exercise. Sitting in this room alone is not good for you. And I kept trying to push him and push him and push him. Like kindly, I wasn't like forcing it. I was just like trying to encourage him. Do it. And yeah. And I couldn't get him to change, really. I couldn't get him to adjust his life. So he was always miserable and he would never do anything about it. He'd always talk about doing stuff and never would. And it was at one point where I was like, you know what? The world does need people who work at 7-Eleven, you know? And like, I hate to be that blunt about it, but some people are okay with that. They just want a small job and then they want to go home and play video games and they don't really want a lot of friends. They don't really want to be that successful. And I guess it's okay. Like, I guess the world kind of needs that in some ways. It's just, I don't think that way. And so I don't really understand. I don't understand that mentality, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. I think, all right, this is going to be pretty deep. I think we're now just seeing the unexpected consequences of the extreme acceleration of technology. social isolation. Mass shootings are going up.
Oh yeah.
Men are dropping their testosterone levels because they're staying indoors more and not exercising as much. These are like society-wide problems that are rearing their head. And I think
you think that's because of technology?
I think social media, technology, I think it's huge. I think it's playing a huge part. I don't know if it's going to get worse or if there's going to be a backlash and people are just going to ditch it.
So hold up. So you're saying that like I'm trying to see the correlation. You're saying that like because technology is increasing, people aren't going out and hunting things like to get some that like
people aren't going
to hunt something and I caught it and like adrenaline, but it's like
it doesn't have
I can
to be
get that same feeling.
It doesn't have to be hunting. When was the last time you went to a grocery store?
When was the last time I went to Target? Never, because I just use Amazon now.
Exactly, and that's we are now seeing the unintended consequences of convenience, and it's huge, right? We don't know.
So you're
what's
saying people
going
are
to happen.
staying home, like they're like confined in this
they're
dark
staying
room.
home. Yeah, they go to work. They're staying home. They're not socializing. It's social isolation is going off the charts now, and that's a huge problem. So then you have to ask yourself, like, is technology gonna get a backlash? Are people just gonna keep going in deeper and deeper into this thing? Is VR gonna be a thing where people don't even go on vacation anymore? They just do their own little thing. Are people gonna need a girlfriend anymore or a boyfriend? Like, we are now seeing these things come up. The whole thing about AI and self-driving cars and all this stuff. Like, that's my question. And that's another thing when talking about like education. Like I said, all these high-paying trade jobs are just sitting there, and from what I can tell, most of these graduates can't make ends meet. So, are people going to start adjusting and moving to these trade jobs, or are these trade jobs just going to go away? And what does that mean? Mm-hmm. What happens when you don't have a construction worker to lay down brick or build a building or something like that?
So you're seeing it as like. In society, you need people that are willing to build buildings and work in the sun and drill things and
I'm saying society
cut down trees. But like right now, where most people are getting raised to stay indoors and play video games and stay inside, and so everyone's going for tech jobs, and so it's like, okay, we have tech jobs, and now we have no food. Right, because no one's farming. And
society needs to learn how to adapt really, really quickly, because I don't think society has changed this rapidly ever before. I think the internet changed it all. I think smartphones have changed it all. Technology has changed it all. And I joke about this all the time, but I don't want to turn into the movie WALL-E, where everyone just sits there fat and lazy.
That's a nightmare.
And it's just like funny because I look at Pixar and I'm like, these guys are really smart. This seems really accurate in my mind. Like
this could be the reality.
When you look at trends, when you look at obesity, you look at heart disease and people getting fatter and people getting dumber, and I don't think people were this fat and stupid before. Maybe I'm just now seeing it.
You think a lot of this stuff is like ramping up? John, do you think the same thing? Do you agree with Nick on?
I think I think it's changing. I think the key word is changing, and it's changing fast, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
So are both of you not like afraid, like, but like, do you think that this is like a real possibility? Like things could just keep ramping down this direction until it's like I'm really
fine.
Bad thing.
I think we're fine because we know better. And we're thinking about this stuff. We understand this stuff. I think there's plenty of people that are gonna see all these unintended consequences and are gonna suffer.
The technology ice age.
Yeah.
Where it just wipes out or like the technology, like a black plague. Yeah. But technology in a way.
Or just think
about, it'll come through and like wipe out all the people that don't figure it out in a different way.
What would happen tomorrow if one of the server farms for Google just something happened, there was a fire and it burned everything to the ground? What would that do to society, for the next like
Scary
year.
thought, actually.
For the next year. What happens if one of their server farms out there in Kansas or whatever just burns to the ground completely? No one can access Google anymore. All these privileged kids who have grown up on the internet, what happens to them?
I was thinking about that. Like, how do I?
Or then there's the opposite.
How do I know how to cook without being able to go? How do you cook chicken?
Yeah,
I can't do that.
What
now.
if YouTube was gone tomorrow? What do we do? Or maybe the opposite. What if everything just goes online? I mean, newspapers are gone now, right? So that's all online. Like, I don't know. We get automatic cars. What does that do for drivers? What does that do for taxi drivers, chauffeurs?
Is there anything that you guys can think of that is not digital or not online, that if it went away and just became online, that would be difficult or scary to you? I'm thinking about this too as I'm asking this question, by the way. Well, like just music. Like if someone said, "Okay, Nick, all drums are going to be digital now. We're not going to have any more acoustic drums," because
I was thinking things like hobbies and passions and stuff like that. That'd be. I think if people don't have their hobbies and passions, they're going to go insane. Honestly, I would go crazy if I didn't have drums. It's an outlet, right?
Yeah.
I have very few outlets in this world that's not.
I mean, look
online.
at us right now. We're having like a real person conversation, but it's all digital. The only reason we're having this conversation is because of digital. Like, this is obviously a good example of the way technology changing can really help things. Because, like, I don't think I'd be as close friends with, like, Michael or Shane right now, if not for this podcast. Obviously, I'm not saying John, because John's not my friend. Just kidding.
I don't even like John.
Well, time to go kill myself.
No, I'm saying that because I was already talking to John and Brent, like, in general. But, like, I didn't really talk to Michael or Shane very much. And because of technology, we've set this whole project together, and that's a benefit. But like a disconnect is actually I said this to the podcast group. I'm going to say it on the podcast. So I went through this thing with this female, and it wasn't like a breakup really, but it was the equivalent
female
of like,
what is this, like biology class?
I love it because I think someone said it's offensive to call girls females. I was like, well, what? Why?
That's so stupid.
I always thought I was being funny because I don't want to say lady, and I don't want to say woman, and I don't want to say girl. So I'm like, a female. I don't know. I think it's funny. It takes the awkwardness out of saying, oh, it was with a woman. Oh,
you think that's
female.
awkward? You're just awkward. That's
it's
your
like,
problem.
I don't want to call her a girl because, like, oh, girls, like, that's what, when I was a kid, they were girls. And now when I'm an adult, like, I say women sometimes, but sometimes that sounds like aggressive, like, women. And then if I say lady, it sounds too proper. Ladies! Like, and so I just like saying female because I think it's kind of funny, but apparently.
Female.
People just decide words are offensive all of a sudden. It's like, oh, what decided? Oh yeah, just people, and like who decided this was not okay anymore? So
yeah, that whole thing's weird too.
Okay, wait, I'm getting off on a tangent. So what I was gonna say, so it was sort of like a breakup, okay, and I eventually decided that I was gonna remove this girl from Instagram and Snapchat and unfollow her on Facebook. So she doesn't know, right? This is not anything that she knows about, but I did it because I thought back, because one, it was bothering me. Like, I would see pictures of her, she'd Snapchat me, and I'd be like, oh man, this is cool, I got this picture. And it was kind of keeping me in this weird state where I was just kind of getting anxious, and it was just weird. And I removed her from that stuff, and I realized that, like, if you think back in history, when and have you ever been able to break up with someone and then just be like, oh, let me just pull out a new picture of them out of my pocket. Let me check where they are every couple hours because of Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and just see where they are. Let me see pictures, like a new picture. Let's have them send me another picture this instant. Like, that has never happened ever. And so I don't think there's any shame in saying I'm gonna remove this out of my life because I don't need to see this person right now. In the history of the world, this has never been an option. So I'm going to remove it. But that's the thing about social media that I think is freaky, where it's like we're dealing with stuff that has never, ever happened, ever. Like, we've never had this sort of connection before.
This is the first time that we're going to have a generation that's going to see all their baby pictures on Facebook, which is kind of weird, right? Like, they're going to grow up and all of it's going to be online. Like, that kind of freaks me out in some way. There's a lot of things that we're not seeing yet. We're not seeing the problems of all this, because if I know anything about, if you know, I'm starting to read history for the first time and actually enjoy it. If I know anything about history, is that we never expect the problems that are going to come in the future,
right?
From all these things that we value or all these things that we create. And it's, I mean, I look at how many people are suffering from anxiety now. Or suffering from erectile dysfunction because of porn, or it's
depression,
or depression
because of Facebook.
Yeah. And it's just like, where is this taking us? Is there going to be a backlash? Are we going to go back to? Are we going to reject this, or are we going to get deeper into it and get worse? Is it going to get better somehow? Are we going to Are we going to manage it? Like,
well, and porn is like, that's a whole nother topic where it's like, in the history of the world, not even the greatest prince, dictator of whatever in the world has been able to go, next girl, next, let's go to the next. Like,
I don't know about that, Luke.
It's unheard of. Like, this is like, and now like so
VR
many
porn,
people are doing it.
VR porn's huge. That's gonna be huge.
I bet most of us are faster on our phone than even he would be to be like, next. You like, just swoop through like 7 girls, like, no. You know, it's like, it's never happened. Like, pornography. I've told people before, I'm like, pornography is so bad for you, because like, just think about it. It destroys your brain. Because like, we're not evolved to a state to handle that.
Yeah, your mind's not used to it. We've
just
never
like
we've never had.
Look at our impulses. Like, look at why people are getting so fat, because like, we in the history of the world have never had to control it like this. It's always like, am I going to eat today? I don't know. Let's go hunting. But now it's just like, your whole body's like conditioned to eat as much as possible, as quickly as possible, because you don't know if there's going to be food tomorrow.
We never had calorie counters.
Now all of a sudden we just got unlimited food forever, and we can't handle it. Like, our bodies don't know what to do. We have to self-control it, because we've never had to do that before.
I don't know. I think that's kind of where, you know, when we talk about things like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, when we consider the future of these technologies, we have to consider what might happen to society as a result of these things, and if society will. I'm reading articles now about people who are saying, I'm off Facebook and I'm the happiest I've ever been now. Will that be the case with all of these technologies? You know, people are just like, you know what? The healthiest thing to do, avoid it all. Get rid of it all. Throw your computers out, and you will be the happiest you've ever been. Your depression will go away. Your anxiety will go away. You know, all this stuff.
You know, that's so interesting, because it's literally like, imagine, it's like when smoking first came around.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like, nobody realized.
Yes.
Like, nobody realized that, oh yeah, this is actually really bad for you. Or not even or like drinking, right. Smoking, whatever.
Right.
And it's like, if nobody knew, or heroin, let's say it was heroin. If nobody knew it was bad, everyone's like, well, this is great. I just love doing this. I'm just going to do it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And then they start realizing all the issues.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
And then they stop doing it. One person stops doing it and goes, whoa, this is what it's like when I don't do this. I never would have thought. And like, the thing about like heroin is, as soon as you stop, your body freaks out. It's like, what do you, go back and do that now. Imagine if social media is the same exact way.
It is the same. It's
a habit you have to break, and if nobody knows that they have to break it yet.
Yeah.
But it's making everybody miserable.
It'll be documented. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what they did in South Korea, but there is some kind of new addiction related to technology and the internet. Because there'd be kids who would go to these internet cafes, because the internet's free there. And super fast, and they play video games all day, and they'd be there for 24 hours with snacks and stuff, and they sleep at their desk. And it was becoming it was a huge mental health issue, because all they did was sit at the computer and play video games, and they could not step away from it. They had to be sitting there at that desk. They would only go to the bathroom, or they would go get snacks, but they would be on their phone while they were doing those things. And so South Korea was like, okay, this is a he said, live in the dream.
Oh. It's like looking at all these people dying of heroin, looking over going, oh, I wish I was over there.
Yeah, I think South Korea was where someone actually died
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he actually died by playing too many video games. Might look it up, but yeah.
It's so weird to think about like social media and stuff like that being like a drug. You know,
It is.
like,
It is interesting, right? You'd think
because it's like
it sounds so harmless.
Well, and this is that history repeating itself thing that you were talking about, where if you think back, everyone in history they were always like, "What are you talking about? This isn't bad for me." They're shooting up heroin or smoking or maybe not heroin, but they're like smoking and drinking. And they're like, "No, this is just what people like." I think they were talking about pirates. I heard about pirates. They wouldn't drink water because water could get like bacteria, so everyone just drank like rum.
Right.
And so they were just drunk all the time. They didn't know what it was like to not be drunk.
Right.
Or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard that. And I thought, how many things do we have right now that are that same way? It's like we just have no idea what it's like to not be the way we are.
Yeah. I think, yeah, the question is, will there be a backlash, or will we just get deeper and deeper into this and screw something up so catastrophically it just ruins our evolutionary history?
That's right. we all turn the slobs together and just melt.
Because I'm just like, the more I read about this stuff, because I'm learning a lot. We can never escape our biology. There's nothing we can do about that. And we have limits. No matter what we think, we will always have limits. And our bodies are very limited in that way. We're all going to die one day, right? So what are the effects of what we're doing now? How is it going to affect future generations now? Because it's already in our genetic makeup. It's going to evolve with us now. Like, so the question is, what is that going to look like?
Right. So a question for both of you that I want to ask: if you, out of all these different things, the different addictions, whether it's like YouTube or social media or video games or eating or pornography or I don't know, whatever the other things that we mentioned.
Heroin, I think, was the other one.
But I mean, any of those things, which one do you think is, and like, well, the thing about this, diseases or conflict or polarization, like, what do you think is the most dangerous thing right now the thing putting us in the most danger as a society and as a country and a world? What do you guys think is the one that's the most dangerous, or the one that scares you the most, or has the most potential?
Trump. Well, and so let's take Trump. Trump's a great example, because I don't think Trump would have gotten elected 10 years ago, right? I think with what social media has become and what the internet is and what YouTube is, I think without all those elements, he would not have gotten elected. And so I think in general, the scariest thing's probably, the most obvious is social media, but I think under all of it.
What, you mean like propaganda?
No. I don't, regardless of the propaganda, it's just the idea that it has so much power and influence over us and we don't realize it.
Which one? Social media?
Social media and technology in general. I bet you if you ask a Trump supporter, a lot of Trump supporters, where they get their news, they're not going to tell you that it's the mainstream media. They're probably going to tell you it's on YouTube, like probably a YouTube channel, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that, I think most of mine comes from the internet.
Right. I listen to
actually, screw that, because it all comes from the internet.
Yeah, I listen to independent journalists, and I read an independent website from all my stuff. So I haven't turned on CNN in probably 6 years. I haven't listened. I can't remember. It was in college that I used to watch CNN, unironically. But I think the one thing that we don't realize is that we don't realize what we're losing with all this convenience. And I think something's going to happen that's just going to be a bombshell that's just going to rock all of us. Like something's
in a bad way or a good way? In
a bad way. I think something's going to go down. Something's going to happen that is just going to rock all of us in like the next 50 years. And it's going to
like an emotional or social media plague in a way.
Yeah, I think something's going to happen. It's just going to destroy something that we've always valued, that we've always had before, and it's just going to be gone all of a sudden. And we're going to be like, oh crap, I didn't even realize I valued that so much, or I needed that so much.
Right. John, what about you? What do you think?
I think due to social media, due to internet, due to internet culture, I feel like the state of society currently is very emotional. I feel like people react immediately on their emotions.
Amen, sir.
Yeah, I feel like
so true.
the future, it's only going to get worse until there's like, I don't know. I feel like at some point, something bad's going to happen because of that way of thinking. And I feel like we're not going to be able to stop it.
I don't know how we're going to remedy our polarization.
I honestly, all I'm trying to do right now is just think that it's not my problem and it'll be when I'm dead. So that's the only way I'm trying to survive.
According to stats, we are the most polarized we've ever been since the Civil War.
Holy shit. That's insane.
Yeah. We have never been this polarized before.
I wonder how they gathered that data.
It's just old surveys and stuff like that.
I know, but how would you survey that?
What do you mean? Oh, right now?
How do you measure the level of polarization? How do you
Pew polls and you judge. You take meta-analysis of just like all these different. If you go to Pew Research Center, they kind of document how they do it.
I'm just saying I'd be curious to see how they measure that, because I don't know. I think that we are just amplifying polarization more than normal. I don't know, but I think it's a vicious cycle, because the problem is people get amped, and because they get amped, they have a louder voice because of the internet, and they amp other people up, and so the snowballs get moving a lot quicker on everything. So it's like if something happens in the news, someone on this side has a strong opinion, and then someone on this side has a strong opinion, and they immediately hear each other's opinions. So then they double down, and then they double down, and then they bring people with them, and then they just get these giant movements going in opposite directions in a battle. Possibly. I don't know. I haven't really thought much about it, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. I think I could be. I'm trying to remember the study, because I haven't read the study in a long time about political polarization. But I think the opinions haven't changed. They're just more, like you said, Luke. They're more amplified, and the hatred has grown. So it's actually people are just more full of hate now. And I
think people are just like, they're like more brainwashed, where it's like you just get reinforced because of like
echo chamber.
Yeah, you amp, like there have been so many times where I get into a discussion with somebody and I bring up something that I've heard like all the time, and they're like, "What?" Because I've never heard it. Because I'm like, yeah, because nobody ever talks to you. All we do is fight.
Right.
And you listen to your own echo chamber, and like I do it a little too. I'll admit it. I'm not perfect, but it's why I try not to be like too aggressive against the other side, and I tend to be more aggressive towards the opinion, being like, well, wait, why is that your opinion? Like that's how I get into arguments, because people go, this is the way it is, and then I'll fight and say like, how do you know that that's it? You know, how do you know that that's the way it is? And
right.
That can be just as polarizing. Now I'm the person in the middle who's just sitting there on the fence, and like both sides are throwing rocks at me, be like, get off the fence.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, I mean, how can a society thrive if it's just at each other's throats all the time? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what could possibly happen? Is something going to happen? Is there going to be like a political thing that happened? Like I was watching 1968 when JFK was assassinated. Like, is something major like that going to happen that unifies us, or 9/11? You know, but I don't know how this is going to get remedied, because it's the worst
or even
it's
like
ever
a plague.
been.
Like think about the plague that happened in Europe,
right?
You know, where it's like all of a sudden, wasn't a third of people died or something like that? Something insane.
Sheesh.
Just at random, you either were immune or you weren't. Imagine this. Like I was thinking about this.
What if Thanos happened? You know.
That's right. Hey.
Did you give away the ending? Did you just give away the ending?
Yeah, a couple of months are fine.
This is too soon. Okay. Everyone just died. All right.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So I don't feel well. No.
I am Groot. No, you're not.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Now you're. I am.
Now
sand.
you're dead. And you're sand.
Yeah, this is all interesting. I like thinking about this stuff, because I think
it's challenging.
I think to wrap all this up, history repeats itself. But I do wonder, is there a point where history won't? Like, so as example, things rise up and then they fall apart, and then something else rises up and then it falls apart, and then this civilization is, and it's like, unless we get to a point where everyone shoots off nukes at once and everyone dies and that's it. And it's like that could happen. It's like Skynet could happen. We make robots and they wipe us all out, or we make a disease and we all die. Like that could happen.
Or we can colonize Mars. We'll start life on Mars with Elon Musk.
We land on Mars, and then the person gets infected and infects the world.
Accidentally open a gateway to hell.
What is it, Doom?
I'm serious, because the history does repeat itself, but I'm like, I feel like there's possibilities for us to do something that never has happened in history, thankfully.
Yeah.
That could just, like, wipe us out.
Who was it? Philip Moriarty talking about how humans will eventually become gods, or, like, that's, like, the eventual goal of humans is to become gods. Like, that's what we're fighting towards, and the question is, will we ever reach that? Because the big thing is, like...
Yeah, wouldn't it be interesting? Because I feel like technology, like virtual reality or something, would be, like, the closest we could get to becoming gods. But it's like, what if we destroyed ourselves? It's like the Tower of Babel in real life.
Right.
We, like, destroy ourselves trying to get to it because we invent technology that wipes us out.
Right. I think the estimates show that the average... or the longest living person is going to be over 150 years, and they're already whoever that person is, they're already born, basically. So someone on this planet is going to live at least 150 years,
according to the
estimates.
I hope it's me,
because that number keeps growing, right? The longest.
I don't know if I'd want to live to be
growing.
150. You just be this rotten skeleton.
Yeah.
By that point, we'll be able to put our brains on the internet. We're fine.
Well, that's coming, man. There's also Did you see the jetpack that just got released?
Oh, really?
No.
Actually,
like
let's talk about brains on the internet. Isn't that like the most horrifying thing ever? Think about it. Someone could just like program you to be tortured, and you get tortured for 1 second, but they turn your brain on to make it 100,000 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's horrifying.
Freaks me out.
Yeah.
A little too real for me. I'm like, oh, that could happen. I love saying that all the time because that's what we all say. But then
what do they say?
Oh, that could happen. I could see that happening. Like, and it's just really, really real because you're like, oh, that could totally happen. But
I know.
There always seems to be, like, the whole AI conversation. There are some people who are like, AI could destroy us all, or AI is the greatest thing ever, and it's totally in our control. And the question is, who's right? And I don't know who's right, but you just think it could happen, and so I don't know. I know this whole thing was supposed to be a FouseyTube and YouTube and stuff like that, but
well, no, I was talking about like I started it with that, and I wanted to talk I was thinking more about, we're in a moment right now, and how can we observe? Is there a way that we can observe the moment we're in right now through the eyes of someone in 10 years? Like, if they're going to look back and go, oh, well, that was this point when YouTube came out, and they didn't realize that this is how things were going to blow up and change. And
well, think about this way.
So we're still going down that pathway. So we are talking about what I wanted to talk about.
I mean, think about it this way. 10 years ago, would you have imagined that Donald Trump was your president?
You see, that's not even like the most extreme. Like, people bring that up like it's the most extreme thing ever. But that doesn't shock me as much as, like, can you imagine people like putting headphones in their ears and listening to 4-hour-long podcasts and live streaming their life online, and like that's the stuff that to me is more shocking.
The point is just, no, you can't. You can't predict the future, but you can guess, right? And so I'm just very nervous. I'm just very nervous about what's going to happen, especially when certain generations die off. Like, what's going to happen to technology? What's going to happen to TV? All these things that a lot of baby boomers and previous generations are holding on to. What's going to happen to them?
Idiocracy.
We're already there.
Right. I think Joe Rogan has a whole episode, or a whole, what is it, stand up where he talks about like the power grid's running or something, and everyone who knows how to run it just dies. And then it just shuts off at one point, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, I guess we'll just wait here until someone turns it back on." And there's like nobody left to turn it on, and so everyone's just like, "Well, I don't know how to turn it on." And so like everyone goes into a blackout because everyone who knows how to do anything just dies. So all the iPhones just run out of batteries, so you can't make any more batteries.
Yeah.
So it's like there's all this technology, but it's just nobody remembers how to use it.
There's a buddy of mine told me this. There's a plant in New Jersey that has a giant cord that controls the internet. Basically, it's where the internet starts, and it's in a factory in New Jersey, and it's a giant cord that's like 10 feet wide. It's gigantic, and it's like if that gets screwed up, like if something happens to where that is, like. Holy crap! What's gonna happen when the internet just goes out?
It would literally be Thanos. Planes would be crashing.
Planes crash. Yeah.
Everything blowing up.
It's literally a big cord that controls the internet. It was hilarious when he told me. I was like, seriously? He's like, yeah, that's where it starts. It's like, oh shoot.
Of all the places, it's New Jersey.
It's New Jersey. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh come on,
that's the last place you'd think to look.
Exactly.
Well, great. Now we just they'll nuke. Now we're accomplices.
Everything else but New Jersey. So at least we'll have the internet and the nuclear fallout. That's good to know.
That's right. All right, gentlemen. We just talked about killing people, so that means the episode is over.
Yeah. Trump got mentioned too many times in this.
I told people I don't want this to be a political podcast because I'm so sick of politics being in everything. That's why I always kill those topics.
It's so hard to escape.
I'm so sick of it, honestly, but that's why I keep killing those conversations.
Yeah, it's relevant. That's the thing.
You guys have plenty. No, it's just. I think. Okay, I'm going to rant about it for 1 second. I'm going to rant about it for 1 second. The reason I'm so sick of it is because it's such an unintelligent, dumb, intellectual. It's like not an intellectual conversation.
Yeah, totally.
The politics conversations people have are for morons, and they're boring to me. So I'm just tired of having them. That's the running. So now everyone on the podcast knows why we don't talk about politics that much. When people get their act together, maybe we will. But everyone's a psycho right now, and I'm sick of it. So
it's just going to get worse. Don't worry, Luke.
That's right. I know. Social media. Yay. Plague. Yep, that's right. We just need a social media plague.
What is it, Dwight? Right. We need a new plague.
Now more people are dying. The podcast is over. Nick, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Follow me on I Love Drummond. That's I Love Drummond without the G at the end. So I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. Do not follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is useless. Twitter is useless. I hate Twitter. It's like it's Twitter. Honestly, I think I'm addicted to, and I think I'm just gonna delete it because I think I have a problem with it where I get mad at stupidity. Or I get mad at blue checkmark guys a lot because they once they get that blue checkmark, they think their opinions matter when it couldn't be more the opposite. So
a blue check mark is literally like, hey, it's my name is John Smith, and then Twitter's like, yeah, your name is John Smith. That's it. Like that's all it is.
How about that shit?
It really is. It is one of the most useless places to get your information. So I love the memes and I love the jokes and it makes me laugh sometimes. I love my friends who we goof on each other. But
I love you too, buddy.
But but it's just like these blue checkmark guys are so utterly incompetent and stupid and they think it's basically this is what I say about Twitter. It's where academics go to be assholes and assholes go to look like academics, basically.
Yeah.
So people follow the assholes and
so you don't want people to follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, I just had to rant about Twitter because it's just like I was
the very end of the podcast. Rants.
I did a thread today where I was just pissed off at this dude who didn't know what he was talking
about.
Nick,
I'm trying to end this episode.
But
I'm
anyway.
trying to end the episode. Okay. So sorry, I would love to talk to you about this after the podcast, but this episode. So
done.
Okay. You said done like as I said what else, so that it was just.
I'm done.
John, anything?
Of course not. I'm a loser.
All right. Well, you can follow my YouTube channel, Luke Roxwold Vlogs. You can follow me on Twitter at Luke Roxwold, ROCKSWOLD, and tweet at me. You can tweet at our podcast at WAITSB Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Please leave us a review on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Google Play. I hear a dog.
That's mine.
That's my dog. And I guess that's it. Check out my latest podcast episodes, or vlog. Check out my latest video episodes of the podcast vlogs. I can't think.
Moral of the podcast.
This is the end of the
podcast. Get off your smartphone.
Yeah, look what it's doing to my brain. Okay?
Say that
Thanks for listening, everybody.
As we end.
Outro music on 3. 1, 2, 3. Outro
music.
Well, I screwed it up.